everyone! Have you ever wanted to learn one of those really cool gift wrapping techniques that show you how to fold the paper in interesting ways? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here today. I'm going to show you how to create the double V fold over technique. But before we get into today's video, for those of you that are new to my channel, hi, my name is Catherine, and I absolutely love decorating for the holidays. And for me, my gift wrap is part of my holiday decor. And so that's why I really enjoy learning fun ways to wrap presents and then sharing that with you. But I'm really curious to know what led you to click on this video today. Was it because you were looking to learn a new technique? Was it suggested to you? Leave me a comment and let me know how you found this video. But first, let's get started with the supplies that we need. First up, of course, is the present. And you want it to be in some kind of rectangular box. If it didn't already come in one, then put it in one. Next up is the gift wrap, and I prefer to use gift wrap of a medium weight that doesn't have any kind of embellishment or glitter or anything on it that makes it harder to fold or to stay taped down. Then we'll also need something to cut the paper. There's a couple of options, the first being a good sharp pair of scissors that hopefully you reserve just for gift wrapping, therefore they don't get dulled down or nicked by cutting who knows what in the rest of your house. Or alternatively, you can also invest in something specifically for gift wrapping, such as one of these gift wrap cutters. Next, we're going to need some tape to secure the gift wrap. And typically, I like to use two different types of tape. First type is a single-sided piece of tape that I use anywhere that will get covered up by more paper. And the other is double-sided tape to use in places that won't get covered up. And then last is whatever will be used to embellish the present. And because this one is really focusing on the gift wrap itself, I'm not going to actually add a bow. I'm just going to use this pick and slip it in one of the folds that we create. First up, we need to cut the paper. And it is useful to give some thought to how you actually want the paper to look as it's folded. So for this, I want the design, since this does have a design that clearly goes one way, I want that to run on the box like this. So I need to make sure I'm giving that thought when I'm laying out how to cut my paper. So because of that, I'm going to unroll my paper and I'm going to position the present in the way I want the paper to run. And I need to make sure I have just a little more than enough to wrap all the way around. Also making sure that I have enough to more than cover each of the ends. So for the first cut, because I have this handy table with the seam down the middle, I'm just going to line my wrapping paper up where I'm going to want to cut it, because that's going to make it easier to just use this tool and zip right down and keep my line nice and straight. I'm also going to use something nice and heavy to just set on one of the ends where I'm going to start cutting. That just makes sure that the paper doesn't start to move around on me when I start to make my cut. And then I do always like to stand for this piece. I just find I have a little more control when I'm standing kind of up and over. And now to determine where I want to make the other cut, I want to make sure that one end comes up and about meets even with the top of the box, but the other end, I want to make sure it comes up somewhere further up on the present, because this is going to be where the point of the V ends. And so wherever I want that on my present is about where I want to make my cut. So it looks like that's going to be, we'll call it right about that bird, just to make it easy for me to have a reference. And then once again, I'm going to take my cutter and I'm going to zip right along. And any excess paper I have, I always keep for projects in the future. Now that my paper's cut, I need to make sure I have the box positioned on it so that it turns out in the way that I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that, first of all, I have the paper positioned so that the last edge to come in will be about in the middle of the box. So that'll be right about there. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then the other thing I'm going to do is push the box up to the top of the paper until about the place where the edge touches the top of the box. I'm going to make sure I didn't lose center too much, so that looks pretty good. And then you'll notice that I am working with the paper that has a right side or upside down, and I do have it positioned so that it is upside down right now, and that is intentional for the way I want the paper to lay. Now I'll just pull it towards me, and we're going to start by taking the long end of the paper and pulling that up and over. And then here I am going to take a single-sided piece of tape and tape this to the box. This step is optional. You could skip this if you didn't want to tape to the box, but it's easier to have it fixed in place, and that's what I'm going to show. And I recommend as you're learning to do this, it'll probably be easier for you if you're willing to tape to the box as well. Now we're going to create our first V. And to do this, we're going to create flaps up at the top that are going to fold in. And so for this, I'm going to take my paper and kind of push it in a little bit so I can see where I need to crease the top to create that first flap or wing, if you will. It looks like it would go right about there. So I'll go ahead and crease that. And so that's going to be what folds over here in just a minute. But I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Push in the middle of that paper in towards the box, and I'll just kind of run my finger along underneath to make sure that I've got a nice flat area where that paper's pushed in, so I know where the corner to start that fold for the flap is. All right, now I'm going to take the first flap and I'm going to fold that over, and I'm going to take another single-sided piece of tape. Once again, it can be small. This is really just to kind of help give you a little bit of security as you're working. And I'm just going to put that over where I know it's going to get covered up with the other flap. And then I'm going to take that other flap. And then I don't have to worry about that excess paper because that's going to get folded over here in just a moment. Once again, single-sided piece of tape just to secure that down. So there is our first V. Now we're going to basically repeat that down at this next step so that we get the second V. And now that I have my creases in, I'm going to tape to the box, but this time I'm going to use my double-sided tape. So just to confirm where I want that to be, I want to run it right along here. And then for the other flap, I'm going to do it a little more down here so this part of the paper lays flat and secure to the box. And as a matter of fact, I accidentally laid the wrong piece down first, so I actually want to fold this in so that it hits a little more even in the middle of the box. So I'm just going to give it a quick fold like that. And I'll bring this over. And now we've got our double V's. Last up is to fold this in, and we're just going to do this like a traditional present. So for that, I'm going to take the short edges of that end, fold them in, take the other side, bring that down. Now I'm going to secure that end with a piece of single-sided tape because that will get covered up. And then lay down some double-sided tape on the end that will go on top. And there's the end. Now to finish this out and really enhance the beautiful double V that I've created, I'm going to take my pick and I'm going to slide that in that bottom V. And here is the finished present. It's just a little bit different, unique way to do your gift wrapping. But I'm really interested to know, are there any particular gift wrapping or maybe bow making techniques that you'd like to learn? Leave me a comment and let me know what those are, and I just might make that my next wrapping video. But I hope that you enjoyed this video, or at least found it useful. If so, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're not already. Both of those things are so helpful to me here on YouTube, as it tells them that you found this information useful and therefore they should promote it for others to find as well. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a very merry holiday season, and until next time, bye.